really bad after Tether.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
We are live.
We are live.
It's happening.
So, firstly, let's just see how much buffering we've got to deal with today.
Yeah, I don't think the internet is particularly speedy, so I'm a little bit concerned that this is not going to make a particularly good viewing.
I have a backup plan, as always.
Yeah, but we remember how last time we changed the internet?
Nope, it's going to be fine.
It's going to be a smooth transition,
It's
is
going to be
it?
smooth.
We're not going to have to stop
smooth,
and then start.
Smooth
And some people are watching
as a minx minge.
the other one.
Anyway, do you want to say some hellos?
Yes,
hello.
hello everyone. Hello,
Okay,
Elle.
Richard
Hello,
and
Zari.
hello, Elle and
Hello,
Zari.
Richard.
So, firstly, we need to say we are
And
using
Mike.
we are using
And Billy. And Paul.
Billy and Paul and Mike. We are using internet from the marina, so
Yes.
if it's gonna buffer.
Yeah.
It's gonna buffer like
Go
an
on.
old Dodgem. Okay. So if it's really bad, we'll have to try turning on our own Wi-Fi. But
Yeah.
anyway, there you go. So hello, welcome to us, me and she from beautiful Gibraltar. Now I'm just
Yes.
going to show you the view. If you can see this,
The view is pretty awesome.
if you can catch that out there, that over there is the Rock of Gibraltar.
Oh, so now we need to put the laptop back in the right place.
I
And
don't
in fact,
think-
I don't think
I don't think
you showed them the
I didn't show them the bloody Rock of Gibraltar.
No.
Hang on a minute. Oh, show them. That's our box of empty beer. That's what we managed to show you. That is the Rock of Gibraltar.
There you go.
There you go.
Ah, there you go. See,
Brilliant.
you've got
Anyway,
it
there you
that
go.
time.
So we are in Gibraltar, or almost in Gibraltar. We're about
Yeah,
200 meters
Across the border.
from Gibraltar, which means that we have to cycle into Gibraltar across the runway
Yes.
of Gibraltar Airport, which is nuts.
Yeah.
There's like a barrier that goes down, and the planes come in, and then
Yeah.
the barrier goes up
And
again.
then you cycle like across the airport runway. It's awesome.
We are.
really cool.
Brennan says we are in Alcadessa. We are in Alcadessa,
Yeah.
and we're in Alcadessa because my Australian compadre here has less trouble. We haven't got to deal with Spanish authorities if she deals in and deals out and deals in and deals out. So there you go. So we are here. It's been. Where are we? We were in. So we were just into Toulouse. This time last week we were in Seville. Seville was amazing, beautiful, and this is because so many of our audience, fans, friends, all in one, are American. I have kind of got this as a life mission now to encourage you all to take your boats and come to Europe because it is awesome. And thus, when you look back on this, and I'm like, you know, you're like, oh, they went to so and so. That's a really nice place because we did this with Distant Shores, didn't we? We used to look at all the things that Distant Shores did, and so we want to go there.
Absolutely. And obviously not just Americans, but people from Europe who want to sell in Europe.
Absolutely, yeah.
So yeah. By the way, tell us where you're from. We can do a little kind of straw poll.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm seeing Regina's from South Carolina. We spent some time there last year. You may already know that. Yeah, we've got Lisa from Seattle. We've got Ed from Florida. We have Diane from Albuquerque. We have Speedy Gangster from Pakistan. Really?
Speedy Gangster, hello from Pakistan. What an amazing place to. You know what? I know that you can't do this, but I think we're going to do this next week on Facebook because I think it's one of the most fascinating things we do is say to people, show us the view from out your window.
Yeah, we'll do that.
I want to do that again.
We'll try
'cause
and
it's
remember to do that.
Obviously, if you're in prison,
Yeah.
then your view.
Pakistan doesn't have a coastline, does it? Is there any sailing to be had in Pakistan?
Now you are now going to be dealing with my geographic.
I don't think so.
It does. India was split into two in the India-Pakistan war. Pakistan war in '71.
Yeah, isn't Pakistan north of India?
No, it's
Okay.
not. India. There was a war in '71, I think. Anyway, enough of this malarkey.
Anyway,
Let's just say
Stephanie's
some.
from St. Augustine.
So let's have a look. Zach, hello. Zaria, we've said hello.
Yes, already.
We've done all this already?
Yes,
Am I
okay.
behind?
Yes. Sandy's from Nova Scotia. Michael's from New York. Angel's from Oklahoma. So yeah, a lot of people from America.
I want to do an American
Philadelphia.
bus tour.
Will's from Philadelphia. What do you mean?
Well, there's all these places, right? And I want to go and see them.
Oh yeah, we were in America for like 6 months.
Yeah, no, but I want to see them in like a bus or something. Because the thing is, right, it's like Airbnb, right? You know when you go and to Airbnb, sorry, you
I'm just trying to put us into
focus me.
a nice little frame. I feel like maybe we should swap sides because
No, because I'm near the fridge and you drink beer slower.
I know, but you naturally lean this way.
It's only because it's too hot to be so close to you.
Okay.
Um,
I think we look like we're not wanting to sit next to each other.
no, this is what I think I'd like to do, right? I want to do something where we go to a country and we buffer them. I think we're frozen.
But apparently our audio continues even when we're
Okay.
frozen.
Oh, okay, the audio is.
Apparently.
So, anyway, listen. I want to go to. We got all these people around the world. I want to go and I want them to show us their hometowns if they want to.
Yes, well, we actually had an offer from someone who is living in Gibraltar only this morning.
We're having to leave in 10 days tomorrow, though.
Yeah. Okay, so Craig's from England. And Tennessee's, yes, Yorkshire, but now in Seattle. So yeah, it's mostly Americans, I think, watching this right now. If you're not from America, or if you're not in America currently, then please let us know.
Yep.
Cool. So
someone's saying that the frame rate's dropped and everything. Yeah,
look,
again,
it's, I think you might just have to suffer through it, to be honest, guys. Yeah, it's annoying.
if you all say, look, it's unwatchable, then we'll try something else. But again, marina Wi-Fi, until we get ourselves to somewhere which has got blistering fast Wi-Fi.
I don't know if that's ever
This is
gonna
what we're
happen.
going. Oh, where did we go? Oh, so we were in Seville last week. That had blistering Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but that wasn't a marina. That was just some nice flat. Cool. So, yeah, Nicaragua. We've got Kurt from Nicaragua. That's cool.
So anyway, let's go. So firstly, questions. Anyone have any questions?
Yes.
I'm going to go through the questions. I hope you're not running low on bush beer. No, we are not. Right? No, just seriously, right? This beer, this is Portuguese beer. It's Portuguese beer. I can't remember the name of the beer, but it's 16 cents a bottle in the hypermarket yesterday. 16 cents a bottle, and it's good beer. I need to now. I can't back this up, but I'm going to buy a selection of beers, and I'm going to. But beer is so cheap in Europe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Beer and food is like crazy cheap.
Yeah.
So, someone's got a birthday. Happy birthday, Simon. Billy Boy. Okay, Simon Taylor, happy birthday. Happy birthday to him. Actually, this is something we were going to do on Patreon, isn't it?
I don't know. What are you talking about?
Singing people happy birthday just for fun. So listen, yeah, if you want us to sing your beloved happy birthday, if they're into us, if they're like, what the hell is this? Who are these two freaks?
That might actually be even more amusing.
Yeah. So yeah, if you have a significant other that needs a birthday song,
Ruby Rose style.
Yeah, come and let us know.
Okay, so Brad has a good question, which is the Med more expensive than the Caribbean? Why don't just enter the Med?
We don't know, but I would say genuinely, we've answered this question a lot. The cost of living is cheaper, right? That's a given. Beer is cheap, food is cheap, marinas are cheap. The problem is that thus far in the coastline that
some marinas are cheap.
However, there are very few places between here and the next 400 miles for us to anchor.
Yeah.
And we love anchoring, but it's just an exposed coastline, so you are kind of forced to go into marinas. And yeah, Teresa's right, some of the marinas can be eye-wateringly expensive. So yeah, but the cost of living it's cheaper here.
Absolutely. I think that if you can anchor, then definitely it'll be cheaper. And the marinas, it really depends on where you're sailing. Like if you're in Greece or if you're like in the Mediterranean islands, in the Spanish islands and the French and the Italian islands, then you should be good, really. I think that you spend what your budget is. And I think that this kind of question of how much does it cost, well, as long as your budget is kind of somewhat resembling reality, then you'll spend what you've got. And if you're somewhere that is cheaper, then you'll just live a more kind of extravagant lifestyle rather than spending less. I think that is the case. Anyway, I did write an article on that once, so I do have some kind of facts to back myself up.
Will is saying that the signal's sketchy. Yeah, again, apologies. So Trucking with Scott says he's going to be buying a boat. Woohoo! I love this. This is one of my things that cheers me up the most. When people say, we watched your channel and we're buying a boat, selling the cat, and we're leaving.
Yeah.
Kids going to boarding school. Actually, we got that today. Someone's going, kids are going to boarding school. We're off.
Sound good, although the stream is still going. So no, sorry. Phil, we won't be going to Southampton this year, but maybe next year. Maybe sailing. Nick's just scrolling up and down.
Just fanning around with the internet.
Can you
Anyway,
go back to Phil's comment.
Phil, what does Phil say?
Stop.
There.
Go up.
Up a bit. Up a bit. Up a bit.
Up.
Up. Phil.
Okay. Phil says Sailing Uma's going to be sharing their experiences. Are they going to Southampton?
Yeah, they are.
Are they?
Yeah.
What are they doing in Southampton?
Getting a kicking from a load of drunken sailors, which is what normally happens when you get to Southampton at night. You end up just getting your front teeth knocked in.
Okay.
Apparently. So we've been to look Southampton. We do love Southampton. I've got a hankering. I really enjoyed Annapolis last year.
Absolutely, it's just that I mean, obviously Southampton's far easier for us to get to from a logistical point of view.
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
So yeah, anyway, no is the short answer. We're not going to Annapolis. We're not going to Southampton.
Next year we're going to Annapolis.
Next year we may be going to Annapolis. Sean says we're in Spain at the moment. Do you mean La Duquesa? No, we're in La Linea, which is across the border from Gibraltar, and it's called like Marina Alcadisa or something.
Marie says, "Can
I mean, the temperature obviously drops over winter. It's just like normal winter weather. I have heard that you can sail over winters, and plenty of people
you do. Yeah, you
live
can.
on board over winter, but most people don't live at anchor over winter. They have a marina that they live at, and I'm hoping that this year we're putting the boat into storage. We're going to find a boat yard hopefully and put the boat on the hard for the winter, but I'm hoping next year we can actually live on board for some of the winter, because I think it'd be cool to like be part of a liveaboard community. We haven't had that since Konya.
I know.
Why are you smiling at me?
I'm allowed to smile at you. Yeah. This is what. Greetings, folks, to 9 years of relationship. What are you doing smiling at me?
Why are you looking at me with that weird expression?
What are you looking at me like that for?
That's true. Yeah.
All right. Crystal Mitchell says, "Hi guys, really enjoying your blogs. Can't wait for the next adventure. Where are you off to next, Christelle and Tony?" We are heading to
Go. But we're working on it, guys. Stay with us.
We should have connection.
Yeah, it says that we're connected.
All right.
I think we're
Okay, just
back on?
see how this goes. All right. I think we've got it.
Okay. I'm so sorry, guys.
Yeah, sorry. It's one of the biggest problems we have. Isn't it? It's one of the biggest problems we have doing this, that we just end up with completely shabby internet.
Yeah.
Anyway, connected to the 4G signal of our phone, so we should be free of pestilence and foul fiend. And the biggest problem I now have is that you left the bottle open downstairs.
Okay, well, why don't you go find that, and then I'll find where we're up to in the comments. Sorry, guys. So I hope that is a little bit better. Okay.
Right, back. Right, we should be good.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay.
Signal's bad. Okay, Peter Anderson. What is your future plans? Or what are your future plans? What are our future plans?
I'm going to become king of a small Greek island and go and live there in luxury with cats and sheep as my... Although I almost became a monkey king today.
Yeah, we went to the top of the rock and we saw monkeys. It was fun. Anyway,
so Peter said, yes, we're going to... Listen, okay, seriously, I think the plan is we are going to spend the next year or 2 years sailing the Med. And I think after that, we're going to head back across the pond. I think what we're going to do is we're going to change this boat. I think we're fairly determined to sell her at that point.
Yeah.
And move on to, getting a bigger boat. So I think that's the plan.
Yeah, I think that is also the plan.
So that's the plan. So there you go. So Jeff Yoder, hello from Indiana. Wade says signal bad. Wade's signal should be good now. Sailing Solon, hey, hello from Croatia. Hello from Croatia.
Okay, cool. So yeah, sorry, I'm just scrolling through the comments that are talking about the bad internet connection. Derek says that you have said that you wish that you have a separate freezer. And he asks, have you looked at the portable 12-volt ones?
Yes, we have. It's just I like neat fixes for problems, and this wasn't a particularly neat solution. Oh, actually, then we did look into them.
We did.
And
we looked extensively.
Yeah, we did. It's just, I think there comes a point where you have to just say, I don't want to modify the boat anymore. I'm just going to give up and buy another boat. Because we just end up putting money.
The freezer was that tipping point.
It wasn't so much that the waterline length was one thing, and that was one problem. But then I want a bigger freezer, I want a bigger this, I want a bigger that. Just give up.
Well, I mean, look, I will translate what Nick was trying to say, which is that we tried to find somewhere to put the freezer. It wasn't so much the power draw, it was the physical space to put the freezer, and we were unable to find anywhere in our boat that would fit. We thought we had a space, and then we realised after doing some measurements that we wouldn't have been able to fit the freezer through the doorway that would have...
I mean, it's small potatoes. We've lived with this we've had the boat for 7 years.
It's not a problem in Europe or in places where you can get kind of food very easily, you can provision easily. It's an issue when you are like provisioning for long offshore ocean crossings, or when you're like going to the South Pacific or something.
Yeah,
then it becomes a problem.
That's exactly it. We're going to go to the South Pacific, and we want to get a bigger boat. So let's have a little look. So Sailing Montreal says way better. Yes, thank you. I'm hoping that we fix that. So there you go. So we've changed over from marina Wi-Fi
to paid Wi-Fi.
Pay Wi-Fi. Do you know what?
There's a reason why it's better.
Does Vodafone exist in America? Do you have Vodafone? Is it one of the networks?
I don't remember seeing anything about Vodafone.
So basically, Vodafone, one of the big networks, like the data charges between Vodafone and different countries is just so huge. Literally, we go from Portugal where it's like 10, what was it, 10? $20 for 30 gig. It's $20 for 10 gig here. Anyway.
Zari says, what will you do during winter? Yeah, we answered this before, but I'm assuming that you're asking again because you didn't get the answer because it was buffering. So just in case you guys didn't hear that, this winter we are going to put the boat in a boatyard. We're going to put it into storage, and we will both be going back to Australia. Nick is already in training. This time in Australia.
You're going to shoot yourself a dingo.
And drink a lot of beer.
I was going to say that's a really terrible Australian accent when I realised you're actually Australian.
Yeah, well, this is I struggle with that. I struggle to like put on a really exaggerated Australian accent. I think 32 years of conditioning not to sound like those Australians that they always interview on the BBC World News when something happens in Australia and they find like. I won't say anything disrespectful to about my fellow.
So someone says, Jim Smythe says, weather looks good, pissing down in Belfast. I've only ever been to Belfast once, and it's the only time I missed the plane. We had just ended up. Is
that why we always get to the airport like 4 hours early now?
No. We ended up. I tell you, well, I can't tell you the story.
Say that you need to come a little closer to me.
No, don't touch me. It's
otherwise...
too hot. It's too much. It's 32 degrees Celsius.
We will keep the space between us. See, look, your head went out of the frame.
It did.
Yes.
That's happened before. No, we ended up in a pub in Belfast somewhere and drank too much Guinness and missed the plane. There you go. Now.
We're in Australia. I'm going to be seeing my family in Australia. Sorry, I didn't finish that. Yes, so we're going to Australia for... I'm going to be there for a few months, and Nick will be there for about 6 weeks. We're going to spend Christmas in Australia. Lovely summery Christmas. And then we'll come back. We're going to go skiing in Europe, which will be cool. We've not done that since we've been living on a boat. And we are then going to get back onto the boat, hopefully in February. And then as soon as we get some decent weather, we will be off sailing again.
Okay, so... we have a question from Michael G. His question is... Okay, what is the ideal size for a couple to do the type of cruising you are doing, the type of size of boat? I would say, if you're going from monohull about 40 foot, we were at a party on a catamaran once in the BVIs, and we met a couple who, she was bitching because they had chartered a cat for 6 weeks, hadn't they?
Yeah.
And she was bitching that it didn't have a dishwasher on board.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
I didn't think they were what you would call proper hardcore sailors.
I don't think we're proper hard. I'm a pussy.
Well, we are sitting on a 38-foot boat that we've been living on for 4 years, and I think that we do fairly well.
Fair enough. So I would say 40 foot. 40 foot is probably the minimum you can get away with.
It's good. It depends on what you want to use the boat for, though. If you are doing circumnavigation, then you might want something a bit bigger. If you're just going to cruise around Europe or go, I don't know where you are, but go down like the ICW and go to the Bahamas, then 40 foot is good.
I mean, you always going to find, sorry.
I was going to say, I think that instead of looking at length, you should probably look at other
Width.
features. I was going to say the size of the bed. No, but for real, you should look at things like how big the cabins are, kind of how the space works, whether you think you could live in the space rather than length. It's not the size, it's the way you use it.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So 40 foot. And Jonathan R says cat. Yeah, I think we are going to look at cats. I think, look, genuinely, and this is a point I want to put out to everyone. We have loads and loads and loads and loads of people say, "Oh, in a couple of years, I put something out on Facebook today. When is your leave date?" And it's taken me a long time to come to this decision and kind of like realization organically. There is no ideal boat. Everyone says, "Oh, there's no ideal boat," but you outgrow your boat because you want to do different things. And all you people that are going to leave and set off, firstly, I would say to you, most people give it a couple of 3 years and stop and go back. Something brings them back. Their kids need something. Their elderly parents need something. They run out of money. So I would say
They get a divorce.
they get divorced. Yeah, plan for 3 to 5 years, and that is it. Don't plan for anything more than that because you don't know how it's going to work out for you. We are, I suppose, fortunate that we, touch wood, haven't been called back yet. But yeah,
Or split up.
You keep moving this. So I would say to you, plan for 3 to 5 years and plan your boat for 3 to 5 years. And then if you're still into it, if you still like what you're doing, then think about a bigger boat. There's no way we would have bought a catamaran. Like when we bought this boat, it was just it came from a place where no one had catamarans.
Yeah.
They were just monohulls and.
We've been to America. We know that there's a better way now.
Well, it's not so much that, but catamarans don't sail very well.
Well, no, but also in Europe and particularly in the UK, no one has catamarans. In fact, at 38 foot, we're one of the biggest boats in the marina that we came from. So it's a different.
And this is true. Actually, when we went to the Caribbean in 2015.
Yeah, and there were catamarans everywhere. We're like.
Well, there's also other things like our dinghy. Our dinghy was completely inadequate for what we had. So we got to St Martin in 2016. Went and bought like a big rib and a kind of like big engine on it, and we're like zipping around and doing all the things everyone else does. Bring the rib back to Europe, and everyone's like, "What the hell have you got that for?"
Everyone's got these like little kind of
2 horsepower outboards,
yeah.
and we're like, "Oh, bitch, look at this."
Can you use a sextant? Says Monty.
No,
neither of us can. Billy says, "Is that Superbook?" No, it's Sargeras.
Oh, right, okay. So, have we looked into catamaran? Yes, we have. Mike Cat 23 says it's impossible to drink too much Guinness. I am going to have to disagree with you. There is a point where Guinness comes back out of your nose.
Yeah, okay. James says, a hot woman wants to touch you and you complained it was too hot.
I tried to touch
Smiley
you last
face.
night and you said it's too hot.
What?
I don't mean in that way. You're like, it's too warm, move away.
It's true that
It is hot.
it's hot.
It is hot.
Have you looked into a catamaran? Yes.
Yes.
We're yet to find a catamaran that we have our heart set on, to be honest.
Andreas says, "Hi guys, if you were to buy a yacht in a country that's not your own, what safety precautions would you take to make sure the agent doesn't run away with your money?" I think if we were to buy, I'd say a used yacht, or I don't know really, mate. All I would say is that there's probably systems that exist. I think that when we buy a yacht, it depends on.
We go with a reputable
You
broker.
go with a reputable broker,
Yeah.
but also you put the money into an escrow account. So most solicitors will have what's called an escrow account where the money is put in by you and you agree to release it at the point at which the papers are signed over. There's ways of doing this. Otherwise, people could. But yacht brokers, put the money into escrow.
Sailing Montserrat says, I have a Oceanus 46 and just met a Kiwi couple with a 40 foot and they feel it's too small. Yeah, I mean, our boat is about 39 foot, depending on how you measure it, and it is particularly voluminous for its length. The Southerly 38 in particular is it's got a huge amount of interior space, huge cockpit, huge aft cabin, big like roomy galley and saloon.
Yeah, I mean, if you bought like a 70s, like a 1970s Swan that was 40 foot.
But we've been on lots of boats roughly the same length, and they're a lot like less kind of the
Yeah.
much smaller inside.
Absolutely.
So it depends on the boat itself, not really about
Completely.
length, which is what I was going to say.
Yes.
Go on. Mark says, "Hi guys, weather wet and windy is Salcombe.
We
We
like
went to
Salcombe.
Salcombe.
We
Yeah,
like-
lovely.
You twisted your ankle, didn't you?
I
In the
did.
yacht club.
I did. I walked down a step that was about that high, and I somehow managed to roll my ankle, and it puffed up, and I couldn't walk on it for days. Oh yes.
Okay, so Wade says more money in the marina. Yes, there is more money in the marina, and yeah, that's the biggest cost that we have sailing down the coast. Let's see.
Yeah.
So Ordaz5 says we are buying our new cat at the end of next year. We get
Great.
inspired. Ordaz,
What
tell
cat?
us what are you
Yes.
buying, because we have looked at them all.
Yes.
Okay, so JPKLA says cats are for landlubbers. Gar. I disagree, and I'm going to tell you why I disagree, because obviously we're looking to a cat, so I have to justify this spurious claim. There are. Look, I used to get into, as you know, my friend Shiner is one of my dearest friends, and he is always like, oh, blah, 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 why have you got a TV on the boat? And I'm like, well, he goes, that's not being a real sailor, that's being a landlubber. And I'm like, yeah, but you've got a TV in your house, and
I don't have a house.
you don't have a house. This is all we've got. And realistically speaking, space, you do need space. There comes a time when you think, I want more space.
It's not just physical space for the sake of it, for its own sake. I think it's also what that space can do for you, like extra storage, second freezer. I was watching Chaser Story today. If you guys watch Chaser Story, then you'll be familiar with their boat. It's a Helio, and their old episodes from when they were in Europe. And they're making smoothies, and they've got this big like espresso machine, and I'm like, that is life.
We don't lead a bad life ourselves.
We live a very
It's not
good
like
life.
we're
Of course, we
sitting
live a
here
very
like-
good life. But my point is that a catamaran can obviously afford you more luxury. And when you're a weekend sailor, then it doesn't matter. When you've been living on your boat for maybe a few years, it doesn't matter. We're kind of getting to the point. Well, I'm getting to the point where I do covet the spaciousness and the home-like nature of catamarans.
Well, look, you know what? I looked at. I was watching SLV, La Vagabond, when they got that Ultimo 45. I'm like, it's fast, I like it, but I wouldn't live on it. And I went to, I actually went to Miami, and I was talking to the Ultimo rep, and I'm like, the 45, blah, 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 La Vagabond.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah. He goes, but you can't live on it, you need 51.
Oh, of course he'd say that. He's trying to sell
No.
you the boat.
I tell you for why. It wasn't just trying to sell me the boat, because I said to him, how much can you load this thing with? How much? Because catamarans, if you don't know, are ridiculously sensitive to how much weight you put into them. And he said, you can put half a ton in. But half a ton is what? 1,000 kilos?
I don't know.
So it's 500 kilos of stuff. But 250 litres of water is half that.
Yeah.
So he said, if you want to put, so basically you can't put genset into it, you can't put a washing machine into it. And if you want to live on board long term, especially if you want kids and you want to bring kids up, I applaud those of you that are washing out nappies in buckets,
Well, we've got friends who do it, and you manage. But,
Yeah.
Anyway, look, we're yet to actually find the perfect catamaran, so we may end up with them on a hole next time anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's move on. All it says is a 400 S2 Lagoon Beneteau.
Where is
Beneteau
it?
no, go down.
Down?
There. Beneteau don't own Lagoon, do they?
Lagoon. I think maybe they do.
They must.
It's a Lagoon 400. They're good boats actually. They're actually our friends over there. They're on a Lagoon
They're on
400.
they're on a 420.
Oh.
This is a new one, right? You're sorry. What was his username? Ordaz5. Are you commissioning like a brand new Lagoon, or are you buying used?
Let us know.
Let us know. And also, is Lagoon owned by Beneteau?
Do you know that? Robert Torres says, get yourself a Nordhaven. I love Nordhavens. I don't think we could afford to if we could afford a 100-foot Nordhaven, we couldn't afford the gas here. Gas prices in Europe are so expensive. It's just, you look at, put it this way, I think when we were in Charleston, it was $2.25 a gallon, right, which is about, let me just convert that into pounds, that's about £1.70 a gallon. I think it's £1.70 a litre, so gas is 4 times more expensive in Europe.
Well, you might know Jessica from MJ Sailing. She was telling me the other day that they would be spending €8 an hour to motor. So they're trying to find a weather. They're in the Azores at the moment. They're trying to find a weather window, and they want some wind so that they don't have to motor because it costs them €8 an hour.
So, Bobby G says, I showed up with the pot. We'll catch you next time. Take care,
What?
Bobby G. Bobby G, say goodbye.
Ah, okay. Goodbye.
Mike Cat says, is the Euro tax paid on your boat? I'm looking for a boat next year. We have paid the VAT on our boat, yes. She is fully paid up and VAT paid, yes. So there you go. So you want a Katana 38? We will be selling it next year. Audo says, you should play your guitar more often. I play my guitar all the time. It's just that basically YouTube, just as soon as you start playing stuff, it throws copyright notices at you. I have to play my own original material, which I need to write some, which I haven't.
Paul says that he appreciates our emphasis that we put on safety and redundancy. Yes.
Yeah.
That's important to us.
We're not just doing it. Look, okay, so just to clarify, there's a thing about safety, and like offshore, we always wear life jackets. At night, we always wear life jackets. And if we're sailing oceans, we always wear life jackets. There are times where we are in a cockpit, which is very deep and very well protected, when it's flat, calm, or motoring, that we don't wear life jackets. So it's not, you have to kind of do a risk assessment in your own mind. So we don't always wear them, but if there's any swell, there's any wind, then we do.
Wade says, how do you feel about passport sailboats? I don't understand that question.
I think this maybe is a brand of boat called a passport. Never heard of it.
Really? Okay.
Okay. So Rachel Andrews says, first lifetime. Woo, woo, woo. Rachel, welcome. Love following your travels. We're looking at a few seasons in the Med, and I can't wait to hear your adventures. Cheers. Greetings from South Africa.
Awesome, Rachel.
Yeah, I'm not sure how South Africa works. With the problem with, as someone pointed out, that the EU is such a ridiculous organisation that you can only spend 90 days here.
Unless, Rachel, you have either you're European or you're a family member that you're travelling with is European, i.e. like a husband or partner or something.
So ECPTX, I wonder if that's ECP from Texas, or anyway. Ask the question, what is your opinion on in-mast furling and electric winches? I'm going to deal with these two things separately. Electric winches.
We have an electric winch.
Okay, we do have an electric winch. I would never have a boat without an electric winch. And that's not because I'm a lame ass, it's because as a safety feature, if I was to fall overboard in wet weather gear, there is no way Teresa could retrieve me on her own. If we were
to be fair, I think even if I were to fall overboard in my wet weather gear, you would...
I'd just pluck you out of order. So for getting someone back on board, an electric winch is invaluable.
I actually read a very, very sad story about a couple who were a little bit older. They were sailing from Canada and they were going off on their big adventure, finally, after planning for many, many years. And they were just coastal sailing. They weren't even like offshore. And the wife fell in the water and she was tethered. So she was still attached to the boat, but she was in the water. And her life jacket obviously inflated, and her husband was unable, he didn't have the strength to pull her back in. So I think he attached her to a winch somehow, and he was trying to winch her in, and he couldn't do it. And because she didn't have a crotch strap, she actually slipped through the life jacket and she drowned.
Electric winches.
Yeah, there you
go. So the first thing, so from a safety point of view, an electric winch is incredibly useful. From a point of view of raising sails and trimming sails, you have to understand the winch. I have yelled at people on this boat for not understanding how to use an electric winch.
Oh no, you have yelled at me. Actually, that's a complete lie.
Because you listen, you can hear the winch changes tone as it becomes under more stress. And basically, for instance, if you've got one of the, if one of the reefing line, this is what, and I've seen, we were in St. Lucia, we saw someone tear their mainsail in half doing this. Mm-hmm. So, for instance, you've left your reefing lines, the mainsail is reefed down, or one of the reefing lines get trapped, and you're just pushing the winch button, you'll hear it groan, and the winch won't give up. Your sail will give up before your winch. So you've got to understand the winch. If you hear your electric winch groaning, stop to see what the problem is. You have to get used to the sounds of your own boat. And I think actually it's one thing that you do need to understand how your boat sounds when you're working it. So that's important.
The question about in-mast furling.
Okay. In-mast furling used to be the work of the devil, right? I think if we were to buy another boat, especially a monohull, I would look to in-mast furling. I've heard really good things. I think Selden and Elfstrom sailmakers have got together to produce a really slick unit that doesn't jam as much. And I think the Shards, they've got that system on Distant Shores 3. So yeah, I have no problem with in-mast furling. I wouldn't buy one with an older one though.
Robert says, did the healing of the monohull annoy you on a long passage?
No, not anymore.
No, not really.
Anymore. Not anymore.
No, I mean, and just to clarify, we would be looking at a catamaran not because we don't like sailing monohulls, because we definitely do. And in fact, one of our, well, I don't know about Nick, but one of my biggest kind of question marks over buying a catamaran is how they actually not perform sailing wise, but how the motion of the boat, whether it's going to be a comfortable motion, because sailing monohull is relatively comfortable.
Yeah, there's a lot to do with the bridge deck, and apparently someone was telling us on the internet the other day that the new Fontaine Pajot Saona's got a really crazy bridge deck shape that just eliminates slamming, so it changes the motion. But what we have found also, actually, and the reason I said we were in Cadiz and there was a Saona, I went look at it thinking that bridge deck looks really strange underneath. James Pindo says, what do you do for downloading weather files and such? Offshore, we use a sat phone to download a grid file, which we then upload into a weather viewer. I think we're going to do a technical Tuesday on this because we get so many questions about this.
Yeah. How do you feel about heal? Oh no, I already.
Yeah, no,
it's a different question. Same question, but from a different person. Yes. How do you feel about heeling over in a monohull long cruises versus a more level catamaran long range sail? Okay, I'm going to translate that.
Healing versus non-healing.
But I'm just reading the questions as it was typed. For food prep and comfort, yeah. I mean, certainly when you're preparing food in the galley, or actually doing anything other than just sitting or lying down,
it's more tiring, I think.
Yeah, being on a lean is difficult, and it is tiring. It's you feel quite lethargic. Like everything is an effort. You don't even want to like go down the companionway because it's just too much of an effort to get down there.
Yeah.
So I imagine on a catamaran, obviously that would be eliminated. And yeah, again, like, yeah, in a way, catamarans would probably be more comfortable on the sail, but we've never sailed with a catamaran before.
We were going to test sail.
Yeah.
Okay, so Matty, hello Matty. Matty says extra speed. Yeah, extra speed is definitely one thing that's going to happen with a longer boat.
Yeah.
So it's going down. One says hello. Bruce Bain, hello. He's there as well. So we are. Really okay. Bruce Bain, afternoon. Okay, Ultramare, they're racing cats. Yeah, this is the thing I don't get, right? And we have seen loads of cats in the lagoon, and let's have a look at the other one. Not the other Naughty Tech and Leopard. So people that have got loads and loads of money, and probably live in these really amazing houses, go and buy a boat that looks like it's made of like cheap IKEA furniture inside, which is why we love this boat, because the joinery is really good. I know it's done to save weight, but you can make really nice boats and save weight. And so yeah, the problem I have is the way they look to live on it. And like as I said, I looked at the Ultramar 45 and I thought, wow, it's a beautiful boat. It's a sexy looking catamaran. I will say that. From the outside, it's like ooh, that's beautiful.
Paul says, what are your thoughts on the Discovery 48?
The Discovery 48, I think, is actually, or the Southerly 480. They are beautiful boats. I think, unfortunately, Paul and Cheryl are coming this way and we're going that way. We will actually pass them at sea over the next couple of days.
Yeah.
They are beautiful boats. We have been in touch, as I keep pointing out, we've been in touch with Discovery Yachts. They just don't want to know us. So I cracked the shits on that and said, you know what, just go and do your own thing. Because we are. It's not that we've decided on a catamaran. We're looking at cats and monohulls, and we do like the Southerly brand, but they just.
But we have problems with their other salesperson as well.
We did actually. There is a certain. This is the thing. I'm going to rant a little bit. So can you go and crochet something?
What?
Well, this is the bloody problem I have, right? So, yacht salesmen. There are certain yacht salesmen. And it's not all yacht salesmen. They genuinely think that by being aloof and condescending to younger people or people that are scruffy, they are kind of protecting the cachet of their brand. And we have had such shabby treatment at the hands of some really, really upmarket yacht marks, haven't they?
Well, Southerly spring to mind.
Southerly and also Discovery. Well,
they're part of the same.
Yeah, they're just well,
company now.
no, but when they weren't, Southerly used to treat us like. Do you know when we bought this boat, I actually got so fed up with the broker. I went to the manager and said, "Can you just give me my money back? I'm not being treated like this." And they, issued a swift apology, and a lot of new free stuff appeared on the boat.
Mm-hmm.
And Discovery as well. They're just like, we don't want to know you.
You know who was great?
Yeah.
Oyster
Oyster were bloody fantastic.
Yeah, they had really good customer service.
And that was the thing, you see. And this is the point. A lot of people. There was a thing in I think it was PBO, which is a British yachting magazine, and there was probably must have been 10 years ago now, where they sent the same bloke to the boat show on 2 different days. One day he had the archetypal chinos, blue shirt, and a blazer, looking to buy a boat. The next day he turned up in the usual stuff that all Royal Sailors wear: a pair of old shorts, an old t-shirt, he had a pair of sandals and his socks, and he had like a hole in his big toe poking through his sock, and he was treated completely differently.
Yeah.
And the problem is that people with money don't brag about having money, and yacht brokers don't get it. And the other thing is money. It's not all the old guard that you would just go on about how much money they've got. They've got money from making. Nowadays, people make money at a much younger age, and yacht brokers just don't get it. So, you look to, I don't know, it frustrates the shit out of me. It really does. And, I don't think there's any harm in calling people out. We've talked to people before, they don't get back to you.
And we're not the only ones, by the way. We've compared notes with other
Yeah,
people.
exactly. I've got a very good friend of mine who is 6'4", 6'5", and he's about 2 or 3 years older than me. So he was Southerly actually, and Southerly have gone bust now, so they're owned by Discovery, so there's no, it doesn't impinge on them. They were like, he said to them, I want to buy this boat, but I'm tall, I need to just make sure the bed is long enough for me to sleep on. And this is at boat show. I said, well, you can't touch the bed. He's like, yeah, but I'm too tall. If my feet hang off the end of the bed, I can't buy the boat. And I said, no, sorry, you can't do it. And he's like, fine, I'm not buying the boat. And he is super rich. And he just said, we were in the pub one night, and he's like, I would never buy a boat from them. So just a case, at some point, if any yacht manufacturers are watching this.
Yeah. Or yacht salesmen.
Not all young people are poor. Not all young people are idiots. Not all young people are trying to get something for nothing. And even if they are, those young people will grow up into older people and just hold it against you. There you go.
We'll start a YouTube channel and call you out.
Yeah, and call you that. Now, there you go.
Okay, let's move on. Will Brexit have a problem for you staying in the Med? We don't know, because we don't know what Brexit will mean for boat. We know there won't mean anything for us because Nick is Italian. So he's still going to be European.
Look, put it this way, the Brexit thing, it's too... Look, the worst case scenario is that they basically apply the same rules as they do to, say, Americans and Australians. And in that case, what would happen is we would just have to... We'd be given the 90 days and we'd have to leave.
No, not the 90 days.
Oh, it's 18 months, isn't it?
Yeah.
So even if we're an American boat, the boat can stay for 18 months. We can only stay for 90 days.
No, because you're Italian.
Well, yeah. Woohoo!
Okay, so as I just said, it won't make any difference for Nick and I. The boat will be subject probably to the same customs laws as non-EU boats currently, which is 18 months in the EU, and then you have to leave, I think, for like any length of time that you want. So theoretically, you could just leave for a few days, the EU, and then you come back again.
Yeah. There's always a workaround. There is, and just actually sailors are, we think with our heads. So if they implement a rule, we'll work around it. I mean, literally, this is the crazy thing about being here, and this is why I love it. Literally, we're in this marina. We sailed into the marina. You can see Africa so clearly from here, like so clearly. You can actually just see the houses in Morocco from where we are.
That's cool.
It's incredible. It's like 7 miles across. You just go to Morocco.
Okay, so Rookie Sailor says, what's the SIP rates in Gibraltar? Well, there's several marinas here. I think that the marinas in Gibraltar are, I don't know what they are, but I've heard that they're more expensive than...
We were told, when we tied up here a couple of days, yesterday, day before?
Yeah.
Literally, it was, the marina office closed at 8 and we turned up at 8 and she just wanted to go home. And I just said, how much is it going to cost? And we've got we just joined the Cruising Association, which gives you a discount on so many things. For a 40-foot yacht, it's €30 a night. She said about €30. So €30, about $30 a night.
And Jack Film says, I have a pretty big mainsail and hand cranking it is a devil of a job. I love my electric Halley winch. Yeah, well, we have to admit that it's not just the safety that aspect that is why we have an electric winch. It makes life easier.
Joe the computer guy says, are you missing the food in the Great US of A yet? Do you know what? There are certain, like the Tattooed Moose in South Carolina, in Charleston. I love that place.
Yeah, and the barbecue.
And I love Southern food.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah,
but we're in Europe, so like the food here is, dare I say it, as good if not better than the food that you would find probably anywhere else in the world. So yeah, we're good for food at the moment.
So Bill Schweitzer says, in mast furling, sail shape. Yes, you've got a point. However, nowadays, especially with the Elvstrom system, they have got the sail is fully vertically battened, and they put the battens at such a point that they work with the mast, so that when you furl it, you don't end up with all the battens clumped at some point. But yes, you do lose performance. But I've never met a there's very, very, very few, but I've yet to meet one, long-term blue water cruisers that sail upwind a lot.
And I mean, yeah, there's a reason why I think in mast furling is becoming much more popular, and that's because
it's more reliable.
Yeah, it's easier as well.
Yeah, less fucker.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute.
Hang on a minute. Just a minute, everyone. I think we've ever fancy sailing down to Australia. So I just saw that question. I need to. That's where we are anyway. Yes, definitely, 100%. We will get to Australia at some point. When that will be, I don't know. And what boat that will be, I don't know.
We're going to get there, though.
We're definitely going to get there.
So, Andrea says, have a look at the new Neil 47 Triumph Man. So there was a Neil 45 in Charleston, and I looked in it, and I thought back to the point I made about 20 minutes ago. IKEA-style furniture inside. Why? Goes like, and there was some bloke I saw on YouTube that posted a load of videos about his Neil 45 because he was so unhappy with the build quality.
Doug says, hello from Colorado. What was your biggest struggle when you transitioned from living on land to living on a boat? This is a really good question. Sorry, the sun's in my eyes. I'm just kind of moving around.
Where's your sunglasses?
I think they're downstairs. It's okay.
Do you know what? I think we were so excited about it. I don't think there was any real transition. It's not for me, anyway. I didn't struggle with anything living on board. I was just so happy to be on board.
No, I think that the practicalities of living on a boat are not a problem at all. You just adjust. I think that
not
human beings are very adjustable.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, but I think that other kind of factors come into play. I think that deciding or realising through trial and error how we would cruise and what kind of pace we would set and what kind of conditions we would kind of tolerate, that was all through trial and error. And there were times where we realised that we were doing things in a way that made it less enjoyable, particularly when we imposed on ourselves kind of arbitrary deadlines that really, in the big scheme of things, weren't important, but
you have to learn to adapt.
Yeah.
You've got to start this life and just think we've got to be super flexible and listen to each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so when one person says, look, I'm not happy with this, then the other person doesn't just brush it to one side and say, well,
so Jonathan
right.
R asked a very important question: what is your favourite British beer? Mine is going to be a pint of Adnams, or a pint of Timothy Taylor, or a pint of Whitstable Bay on draft. God, I miss Relay.
Jonathan says, happy to be a proud patron. Thank
Woo-hoo,
you, Jonathan. And yes, he appreciates the thank you video. Yeah, we did a few more of those today, and I apologise to everyone whose video we were less than professional in
our delivery. So basically, we've had a few people saying, what about a Boreal 37? I think Boreal is the latest. It's the Garcia thing.
Oh, really?
I think it's Boreal. I think that those kind of aluminium, they look like German
like
gunboats.
The kind of icebreaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one day when I manage to convince Nick to do like high latitude sailing, then we might get something like that. But for now, we'll be sticking to like kind of fairly temperate climates.
So Scott Arsenault says Antares 44i is a great boat. They are, in all fairness, the Antares 44i as a catamaran is one of the most beautiful catamarans inside I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But
As soon as you step into the cockpit and then onto the pontoon and look at it, then the problems start.
If I could design the perfect catamaran, it would just be a fusion of different things, and it's not difficult to do. For instance, I think Fontaine Pajot have got the most
Aesthetically pleasing
cockpit.
Yeah.
So basically, so this is my transformer of different boats. I want the livability of the Antares 44.
Yeah.
So basically, the Antares 44, the saloon, beautiful, amazing boat.
I like the down galley. I have to say.
Again, love that. Love the bedrooms.
Yeah.
They're called cabins now. Cockpit looks like it's been designed by literally a blind monkey has taken a crayon and gone, I'm going to draw this.
No offense to the naval architects, I'm sure they put a lot of effort into that
And
cockpit.
you just think, why can you not design?
It's no more spacious than our current cockpit.
But look, put it this way: if you take a cockpit of a catamaran, you've essentially got a square.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of fanning about to that, is there?
Yeah.
You've got this square. Make a cockpit out of it.
Yeah.
And you look at it and you think, well, hang on a minute, how did you stuff that up so badly?
And most catamarans do the sensible thing, which is to use the entire space as outside living space and make kind of square shaped seating areas. But for some reason, Antares had two small curved couches that obviously you can't lie back on because there's no size to them. They're just sitting by themselves. And then they've got these two seats at the back, which are off, almost in a separate area. So there's no kind of communal. I can't imagine having people over and all sitting together, because some people would be sitting up, some people would be sitting around the table, and there'd be another person sitting at the helming station.
So basically, for your homework, everyone, go and Google Antares 44 pictures of their cockpit and compare it to the Helia 44.
Or lots of other. I mean, the privileged catamarans have very nice cockpits.
Privilege is beautiful, but different price range.
Well, the same price range.
So basically, an Antares 44 is twice the cost of a Helia. Just make a decent cockpit.
All the production boats have roughly the same cockpit, and there's a reason for that. It's because it's nice outdoor living space. Anyway, I feel like we've gone on about that now.
John Jackson says, apart from the experience and knowledge, do you think RYO certifications are worth going for? Yes, they are. And I would say get some qualifications. One, because it gives you confidence. Two, it means you can charter. Three, your insurance company will want to know what you're doing. And they're happy if you've got some formal qualifications. The other thing is, you need to have, not the ISS, it's a space station.
ISA? No, IC.
ICC.
ICC.
You need to have an ICC.
International Certificate.
Competence. You need an ICC to sail in certain European waters, Croatia specifically. And if you've got an RYO yacht master, or actually I think it's day skipper, theory and practical, they send you an ICC for free. John Baskerville says Nauta Swan, beautiful boats. Beautiful boats.
I looked at that.
Simon Taylor, birthday again. Happy birthday.
This rant was spot on. What were you ranting about? I forgot what the rant was about.
All right.
We're behind on the.
Sorry, we're very behind, but we're
always.
going to answer them all until the internet runs out. Bob de Wilger won. Not a sailing question. It says, halfway through binging your past episodes, very engaging. Your photography is getting really good, better. How do you plan your shots or recommend improving one's filming?
Oh dear.
This is going to, not only this succinctly, firstly, we changed camera. We did change camera. That was the first thing that changed our photography. Secondly, we read the manual of the camera. That increased our photography. Thirdly, buy yourself a circular polarizing filter. That increases things better. Learn to use the camera. We film and it's literally, you start off going, oh, it's point and click, and I don't think we plan shots too well, do we?
Fifthly, and I think that this is the most important thing, and you don't need to have a decent camera to do this at all, watch other vloggers, YouTubers that you enjoy watching, that you admire, and look at it from a critical point of view and think, how did they do that? And kind of try and pick apart, instead of just sitting back and enjoying the video, try and pick apart how they put that video together and gain inspiration from that. I watch so many sailing vlogs where I'm obviously enjoying kind of living vicariously through other sailing couples, but I also watch them to get inspiration. Delos is a great example of this. I will watch them and be like, that is a great shot. How do they do that? And then I'll think to myself, I'm going to do that next time we're in this kind of situation. So yeah, I would say look at others for inspiration and work out how you can put your own kind of personality on it as well.
Well, and actually, saving time aside, I am a great fan of Peter McKinnon. If you haven't seen Pete McKinnon's work on YouTube, just Google him. He's a kind of laid back, kind of a bit of a hipster cinematographer, and he went from 0 YouTube viewers to like 2 million in a year because his work is so good, and he teaches filmmaking. That's what he does. So Pete McKinnon, look his stuff up. That's really kind of what inspired me.
SB Doing It Right says, when you get that crap treatment from the salesman, I find throwing the doctor title in Nick tried that.
No bollocks did I. I didn't try it at all. Basically, I would turn up at the boat show refusing to wear shoes, in a pair of shorts that really smelt like a fishmonger's apron, and kind of like a t-shirt that looked like I'd eaten curry, while having a fit.
Okay, you didn't, because I wouldn't have been seen with you had you looked like that.
But I don't wear shoes.
Well, yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway.
Do you know what? I don't like using the term doctor. And to tell you the truth, realistically speaking, Ray Cam says, sorry, I know this is a way back. 99%. Andreas, thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh, and actually, Andreas asked
as a question, have you looked at the barley?
We have a barley.
There's a barley 3
right
up. Don't like them. Sorry, they're not sailors, but
we have been on board one. We haven't just seen them from afar. We actually went on board a barley, and that really did feel like an apartment.
Yeah, I don't like them at all. Don't like them at
Yeah.
all.
But that was purely from an aesthetic point of view.
And Bob Gubbins says he dresses down.
Yeah.
So basically, we're still talking about what we're now going to the comments that we were talking about 15 minutes ago.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on.
Oh, that's okay. Okay.
Are you going to be visiting the French Riviera? Yeah, I think.
Well, we are going to go.
I hope so. I don't know.
Firstly, I want to go to the Monaco Grand Prix. Secondly, we're going to go to Grand Mott, the catamaran boat.
Yeah, but I don't
show
know whether we'll be there on our boat. I don't know if we'll get there on our boat.
Jay Scott says, I saw in your crossings that you have a ICOM M802 that we do, which is an SSB radio, and that you have a Pacta modem. We do have it. We just use a sat phone for mail, although we know how to use it.
Leonard wants to know how the vane rudder works, the hydro vane.
We've done a video on this.
Yeah.
Leonard, go to our Technical Tuesday
playlist
and look at the hydro
it's
vane.
called Do You Need Self Steer?
Yeah.
Or hydro vane versus self steer versus autopilot.
Yeah.
You'll find it.
Okay. Dexter says, how about lagoons? I'm not sold. I'm still too much of a sailor to kind of go with such a small mainsail. That's my thoughts. And I've looked a lot into catamaran design. I do want something that's slightly performance oriented. Nothing against lagoons, they're beautiful boats.
And Pamela says the Winds have a Leopard 43. And yeah, they do. And I actually really I prefer the older Leopards. I don't know what year Jason Mickey's Leopard is, but I prefer the older Leopards to... It was like a sweet spot where they got rid of the... what do you call it? Like the front windows. They had like that kind
those
of slats in front, which I didn't like just from an aesthetic point of view. And then they got rid of those and it looked nice. And then a few years later, I don't know what year, they started putting that like frontal cockpit area in, and I didn't like that either. So there was a sweet spot for me with Leopards that I really like the design, but I don't like the current Leopards.
Corpse Pounder, they had a
that was a sweet spot. They didn't have the slatted kind of windows, and then they didn't have that front cockpit area either.
So Brad 3000, any opinion on the HH55 or Leopard 58? HH are beautiful boats, way out of our price range.
Yeah, we need to kind of be realistic, unfortunately.
Okay, let's have a shift. Oh, that question.
So what certifications do you need to sail the world? Are ASA certificates interchangeable?
Yeah, they are. I think there's an international agreement that as long as you've got some qualification, ASA, yes.
A lot of them, I mean, the ICC, I think you can just get just by showing your ASA certifications.
Yeah, you can. So anyway, anyone have any further questions? We've kind of almost got to the end of our question part.
I feel like we covered a lot of ground in this live chat.
Yeah, so we have. It's good to work through. So someone's asked about the Amel 50. Amel 50. Like to see it. To tell you the truth, I like.
We did see it. We saw it at the Nappy
We
Show
did.
last year.
No, we didn't. That was a 55.
It was a street though, wasn't it?
Catch. Was it?
I thought it was the new. Amel 50.
Anyway, so I'd like to. I want to see it. It's got a huge amount of freeboard. Yes, thank you, Gregory. Thank you for. I fell for Gregory's joke.
Ah,
You said there's a seabird behind you, and I looked. Damn it!
seabird.
I'll get you. Um, so yeah, I think so. Basically, yeah. Look, the plan we have is we are going to this boat. Look, the boat that we have is bloody perfect for crossing the Atlantic. It is perfect for the Caribbean.
Yes.
It's the best boat you could possibly want for the Bahamas because it's got a lift keel.
Yes.
It's perfect for Europe because it's small enough to get to marinas and not pay the world.
Mm-hmm.
But for the Pacific, we need something bigger. And so as we're going to sail around this stretch of water for a year or two, we will put the boat up for sale. And when she sells, we will then move on to something else. I'm not going to own two boats, so that's it.
Joe says, will Nick's sailor vocabulary ever return?
Do you know
3
what?
question marks.
I don't think so. It's all in here. I think kind of, it's not just that. We kind of get, YouTube did a lot of things, and YouTube got to the point, and it's still at the point where it's got so puritanical. It's like being the bloody Handmaid's Tale. You do anything, you lose a digit or you lose an eye. So, when we get to the point where they're like demonetizing us for saying the word nasty, I'm like, for crying out loud, all I've got to do is get my nuts out and really like throw it to you bastards.
Yeah.
But we have met a lot of people, and they're like, you know what, I love what you do, but we also like watching this with our kids.
Yeah.
So and I
that's
think
the main deterrent.
that was really
rather
it.
Than...
And it's not to do with viewing. It's just like, I don't like swearing in front of children, and it kind of made me think, hang on a minute, there are kids watching.
We didn't realise that children will be watching.
Yeah, exactly.
Our channel. So to begin with, we were fairly carefree about it, but yeah, lots of people have said to us like, we either watch it with our children or we want to watch it with our children, and we're not wanting them to hear that language,
Exactly.
which is totally fair enough.
Peter Freebold says, give this great couple a like for their show. Can you? Yes, absolutely. Please, if you haven't already, click like, and if you haven't subscribed. It's just so good for the channel, because while we cannot buck YouTube's ridiculous algorithm that stops us from doing anything, we can stick two fingers up them by getting likes and subscribes, and also. So if you haven't liked, subscribed, commented, and done other stuff, do so now. Anyway.
Longtail says, are you going to Southampton Boat Show? No, we're not this year. Perhaps next year, perhaps not, we're not sure. And there was another question, which was, do you prefer marinas over mooring balls? They both have their advantages.
I prefer anchor. Do you know I prefer being an anchor.
In an ideal world, being an anchor.
Yeah, I do. I love being an anchor. But what has made my anchoring, or our anchoring, has changed our anchoring completely, is the rib. Having a better dinghy and a better outboard, which means that we can now, I mean, our rib, we've got an 8-foot, 9-foot rib and an 15 horsepower outboard. That rib, with 2 of us and a load of shopping in it, and even with 3 of us, we'll do 23 knots. She planes like a bitch.
Sorry, Mitchell, if you don't talk about rib, says, how much does it cost to, how much should I spend on a boat, and how much will it cost for me to, how much money should I have to sail around the world? If you just type into Google, how much does it cost to sail around the world, then we are actually the first hit that you will get, and you just click on that video that we made, and answer all your questions.
Well, put it this way, you know what, and I'm going to say something which, we spent a lot of time in America, and I have a huge affinity with it, with Americans as a people. I think they're fantastic. But so it's in the news today that, and this is a bit tangential, but bear with me.
I'm wondering where you're going with this.
No, John McCain died.
Oh, right, okay.
And you know what, I'm not into the kind of bipartisan thing of American politics. I just think that, what he did, he kind of, he led a very...
Not bipartisan, partisan.
Partisan thing, yeah. So he led a very colourful life and did a lot of different things in his life. And I think it kind of shows that that was a life. When I woke up this morning and found out that he died, I'm like, you know what? It's sad that he died, but he lived his life to its fullest. And what I'm trying to get to is, if you can go. So how much should you spend on a boat, and how much living money should you have? I would suggest whatever you've got saved up, don't spend more than 50% on the boat. That's in an answer. Obviously, if you've got $4.50 saved up, but I've got my friend Phil bought a boat for $1.
Absolutely, and you can buy really cheap boats.
And my friends, we've talked about this a lot. How people can buy boats for $1. and it happens. It's not abnormal. It happens in the UK a lot. And what happens is, like the marina that I'm from, you go to any marina, about 20% of the boats in most marinas will be abandoned in the UK. No one uses. I don't mean the posh marinas. I mean the East Coast ones. It's like the chevrons. People that have just like they bought a boat on a whim. They didn't like it. They just gave it up. Something happened. Life changed. And there's so many abandoned boats out in the hard. And a lot of the time, the marinas just want to get rid of them. They just because they're racking up fees. No one's paying the fees, and they just want to get rid of them. So my friend Phil went to the marina owner and said, "Look, how much for this boat?" And he said, "If you start paying the bloody marina fees, you can have it for whatever." He's like, "I'll give you £1." They went, "Fine." He bought a 27-foot sailboat for £1, which is $1.28.
Okay, how would a cat be for the busy marinas in the Med, Italy, Greece, and Croatia? Yeah, we're not sure yet. I would watch La Vagabond if you wanted to know about that, because they obviously sailed a cat in the Mediterranean last year or whenever. So, yeah.
Heavy hydrogen dioxide says, well, firstly, thank you for $10. That's fantastic. For the new boat or more beer? I'm going to say beer. So do you want another beer?
No, okay.
Right.
Okay, so hang on, sorry. Genoa International Boat Show from September the 20th. Will you make it? No, unfortunately we won't. We're going to be sailing. That falls into the same issue as the Southampton Boat Show. We'll be sailing in September. It's great sailing weather, so we're going to be enjoying it. Because even though the boat show only takes like a day to get to, then we have to arrange to be at a marina like a few days in advance, and then we have to obviously pay money to fly back. And logistically, it's just a massive pain. So we're not actually boat shopping yet. So
Well, no, we were not yet, but we will. Well, hang on. We're going to go to Grand Mott.
Yeah, we'll go to the Grand Mott next year, but that's because it is specifically a catamaran boat show, and that we're interested in catamarans. Milton says, "What editing software do you guys use?" Final Cut Pro. Island Spirit 35 says, "Congrats on your success. Thank you. A smart move to adopt Patreon. Thank you very much." That is what we think as well.
So yeah.
Check out the Aussie couple sailing the Med with the gorgeous catamaran. I'm pretty sure you're talking about La Vagabond. Is that right? Yeah. And it's new, but they want to sell. Sailing Let's Dance. Okay, I will check that out. I didn't realise there was another Australian couple sailing the Med on a catamaran. I will check that out. Okay, cool. How can I convince my wife to sail away from me?
Sail away from you or with you? Or with you? I have the answer, Ray Medic. This is easy. Because you know what? I've answered the straight up. I've answered this question 3 times today to 3 separate people. How can or variances of, I want to go, but my wife doesn't want to go, my wife's not to say it. This is what it's going to cost you money. I'm not going to lie to you, it's going to cost you money. But in the long term, it's cheaper than buying a boat and having to sell it with a 10% commission to the broker. What you do is you take her on a holiday to the British Virgin Islands, and you charter a catamaran with a skipper for a week and show her a life that is not, washing your pants out in like a bucket of salt water and living on biscuits. Show her how
what
good
it could
can
be
be.
like.
That's it. That's all you need to do. And if after that she's like, yeah, it was all right, but no,
then you've done all you can.
You've done everything you can do. And to say the truth, if you're going to do it, it's going to do it properly. Like if you're going to make the effort, make the effort. I think personally, you're not going to get away with spending probably less than $10,000 to $12,000 on that week. But that's for the whole boat. So if you've got 2 kids, 4 kids, 6 kids, they sleep 8.
Someone says that's what I did. There you go.
That's
exactly. 2 people have said no. That's exactly.
And so Suarez 29. Did it work?
Yeah.
Did
that's
it
what
work?
We want to know. While we're waiting for the answer, Ian says, what do we think about crew websites before making the jump to buy first boat? Should you get experience? Yes, I think that's a great idea, especially if you want to do like offshore sailing. Then that is a great way of getting experience.
Yeah,
and far better than paying for a spot, which is
damn shit. There's people charging $5,000 a week for a spot on a boat, and I'm like, are you nuts, you two? How much?
Yeah.
So Suarez 29.
Yes, it did work. Fantastic. I'm glad to hear that.
We have some friends actually in the BVIs, and this is a plug to them because they're friends of ours, but we're not endorsing them at all. Look around. It's Sailing Allende.
Allende. It's got ALLENDE.
They have a Helia 44 catamaran. They do gourmet tours So they basically, their entire thing is, she's a really good chef, and she sails you around. You get the entire catamaran, but I think it's 16,000 a week. It's super expensive, but that's high season. So, there are loads of companies where you turn up, you charter. He's got like a green egg barbecue on the back of this boat. So
they show you a good time.
Yeah, and so if after that, but put it this way, you want to buy a $500,000 boat, and then you find out your wife doesn't like it, your broker will charge you 10% to sell it for you. So, what am I going to say?
Okay.
Oh, Ray Medic. Thanks, you said maybe. Ray Medic, is your wife listening? You let me know. I want to know if Ray Medic's wife is listening. And tell me her name. I don't want to say the wife. I'll fix this for you. Just me and you. Just get your wife on. Tell me what her name is, and we'll fix this. Anyway, Unsqueakon says hello. Jay Scott says, do you ever have to pull your Dodger down, and will that be a consideration for choosing a new boat, just thinking about issues in bad weather? We can put it down, it folds back. We never do because of the solar panels. Yeah. Okay, so this is Cessna 3FC. It says it seems that passive income is important to the cruising lifestyle. Any advice on some of the better investment vehicles for passive income? No, because all investments are risk. Property. At the moment, we were lucky enough to buy a place a while back that, when property was cheaper in London, and now, property prices have gone up crazy, and we can rent it out. So we live on the rent from my house. That's really, really. Pamela Walls asks a question which I thought I never had the answer to. It says, will a wind vane work on a cat? I've never seen one until yesterday. There's a cat over there with a hydrovane on it.
No.
Yeah, I shit you not. It's
Where?
gone. It's gone.
Oh.
But there was a cat around with a hydrovane on it, and I've never seen one before. So
I'm sure that the hydrovane man that we spoke to, I can't remember his name now, said that you can put them on a cat. I don't remember why. Anyway.
Karen, she is from London. So Ray Medic, Karen from London. I knew a Karen from London once. There's 8 million people in London. There's a very slim chance this is named Karen. Anyway, Ray Medic, all I would say, Karen, is realistically speaking,
if she's from London, probably any sailing that she's done recently has been in the UK.
Yeah, it'll be like some.
Like what we had to suffer through.
Some ex-boyfriend took her sailing to France in a bathtub with like a broomstick for a mast and had a horrible experience. Open your mind a little bit to this. This is what Ray Medic wants to do. Ray wants to do. Try it out if you don't like it, but make sure that he gives you the kind of ultimate holiday. The BVIs are beautiful. The BVIs are beautiful.
Maybe like Greece is a bit more attainable from London. It's a bit easier to get to.
No,
you don't have to take like 3 flights to get to the BVIs.
Hang on a minute. There's a direct flight, isn't there?
No.
Didn't China fly directly?
No.
Really? Okay.
No direct flights to the BVIs. They've only got that little puddle jumper. You had to fly to Puerto Rico. I don't think there's direct flights to Puerto Rico.
Skipper charter. So try that. Try it. Try it. If you don't like it, at least you got a luxury holiday out there. It's win-win. Because it's
Greece.
Yeah, Greece is nice.
Greece is beautiful.
Richard Aram says, how did you gain all your experience to do serious sailing? We just built up on it. We didn't kind of like, I sailed at weekends and we sailed the odd week, and then we did 2 consecutive summers where we did 6 weeks at a time. I put a locum into my surgery, my business partner to kind of hold the fort. Did 2 6 weeks to make sure we enjoyed living on the boat, and then wallop.
And we did,
yeah. So,
Ray Medic, they live in Las Vegas. Okay, well then go to the BVIs.
Easy. Straight. Yeah, go to the BVIs. Seriously, if you live in Vegas, go on it.
Yeah.
You could spend that in strippers. Melissa, how big is your boat? It is, I was going to say rude then, 38 foot.
What were you about to say?
I don't say anything.
Honestly, it says, are you coming back to the USA and when? We may come back for the Annapolis Boat Show next year.
We are coming back to the Annapolis Boat Show next year.
It won't be on our boat. It will just be in and out kind of thing.
Are we going to the Balearics? Yes, we may be in the Balearics next week.
Anyone else can be there? Yeah.
Okay. Let's have a look. Sorry, everything keeps jumping around. Dividend stocks. Okay. So, yeah, listen, there's no way to guarantee income from investments. As I said, if you can guarantee rent from a property, that's probably the best way you can get money. There you go. All right, so
Sorry.
Richard Dyer says, how much money would you recommend someone to have socked away before you set up for 3 to 4 years? Oh, blimey. I don't know. Whatever I say is going to be, someone's going to say, oh, you could do it on less. I would suggest work out. I don't think you can comfortably live on less than $1,000 a month on a boat. I don't think you can. So that's a minimum of, if for one person, 12 a year, 3 years, 36,000. I think that's pretty about where we are.
Craig has just become a patron.
Has he?
That's what he says.
Craig, what did we
You'll
say?
be getting a thank you video very soon, Craig.
That's us. That's our going to sort it out. All right, Joe the Computer Guy says, when you started this not so long ago, did you ever think you would have 42,000 subscribers? Any chance you'll be inviting some well-vetted fans aboard to crew? This is 2 questions. Firstly, no, we never thought this would turn out the way it has turned out. It's kind of gone a bit mad, and all I would say is that we started this. I know it sounds like the kind of cliche or just so our mums would watch. We literally just started it for something to do.
Really, yeah.
For those of you who heard the story before, apologies. We happened to spend a night or 2 nights in Singapore as we were flying back from Australia to London a couple of years ago, and cameras are cheap in Singapore, so we spent $200 on a camera just to film us going back to the boat.
But I think that shows how like uncommitted we were to it. How
Really
kind
good
of
stuff.
yeah, we didn't take it seriously at all. We spent a couple of $100 on a little compact camera. We already had like an old GoPro from a few years earlier. We did our editing on our old MacBook, which was 10 years old, and honestly, I don't know how that thing was still running.
It's so cold in the back of it.
Yeah. So we didn't really take it seriously at all. And then when we got to 20,000 subscribers, that kind of coincided with our time in the US, and we, jumped on Amazon, went crazy, and upgraded all our gear. So we like to think that we're making high quality videos these days.
Yes. So, so we did.
And will we be inviting?
Yes, we will. We have actually talked about this, about inviting patrons to crew for us, and Delos do it. When we get a bigger boat, we will do it.
Yeah.
We cannot do it on this boat.
No.
It's too small.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, this boat is
so yeah. So when we get the new boat, so anyone that knows a Fontaine Pajot rep or someone rep who's like, all right, hang on a minute, those two, I'll say, we will probably yes, we will. I state here, when we get a bigger boat, we will invite people on board.
Absolutely.
There you go. That's good.
We want to.
So Ray Medic do not donate us money. That money is going to be spent on your wife, Karen. All right.
And Billy, thank you very much.
Billy, thank you very much.
Yeah,
spend that on your wife. If you haven't got a wife, spend it on. Thank you. Squeakon says, is there a required license for international waters? Some countries require certification.
But for international waters, as in.
No, international you don't. Jane Pierce says, how often do you use a lifting keel? We use it a lot. I'm going to, a little bit of a secret now, we couldn't really make much progress to windward when we were sailing 2 days ago, and I forgot to put the keel all the way down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't tell you that. I was going to tell you. I wasn't withholding it from you, but anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's have a shifty. Okay, hang on a second. Okay, Aerophil says, is there usually a limit on how much alcohol you're allowed to have on board when checking into a country? Yes, Morocco does have a limit on alcohol.
Most countries have a theoretical limit on alcohol.
Obviously, if you turn up with a massive still, like smoking away, like some sort of funnel on your boat.
We live on a 38-foot boat, so there's only so much booze that we can fit. Like, we only have a very small booze cupboard. So yeah.
We have 2 of them though.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And booze in the build.
It used to be our kind of DVD cupboard, but as technology's moved on, we've moved away from DVDs. It's morphed into a booze cupboard.
We have Richard Dyer has gifted us.
Richard.
Thank you very much. So Elle is still here. Elle, you've been here for ages. I hope you've dipped in and tipped out. I don't want to think you've been here forever.
Regina said, how did you like Charleston, South Carolina?
Honestly, we love Charleston. We love Charleston.
We did.
Yeah. Sailing America was different because it's such a vast place. You need to have a car, and having a car and owning a boat are 2 different things. So there you go.
Larry, nap time.
Nap time? Oh, yeah. Okay. Yep. Love your channel, and hats off to a couple getting along so well in such a small space. Yes. Oh, okay. So Ray Raver says, "Are you going to the Dusseldorf show?" Yes, I am going to the Dusseldorf boat show. I am definitely going to the Dusseldorf boat show.
Say
You are not.
Dusseldorf again.
Dusseldorf. I'm going to.
I'm not. I'm going to be in Australia.
Yeah, I'm gonna attend the Dusseldorf boat show. Only because I am in London at the time, so I'm 90% sure. Paul Paulson says, third time asking. Sorry, Paul. Sorry, Paul. Have we ever considered use a used Beneteau 56 center cockpit? No, but all I would say is that older Beneteaus, kind of like say about 10, 12 years old, they're really good. 56 is a big boat, and the bigger Beneteaus are good boats. Center cockpits, happy with us. The thing about center cockpits is it's pros and cons. Center cockpit, you normally get a really nice aft stateroom, but it eats into your saloon space, and you normally get a really shabby cockpit or a smaller cockpit with a center cockpit. And it's about sea kindly motion, yada yada yada. So the answer is I would consider it. 56 is too big for us. You know, we don't need a 56-foot boat.
Well, yeah, we don't need it more than anything else. Okay.
So L, our friend L, who was one of our originals from when we started this malarkey. It's amazing to watch your editing skills. Thank you so much. Improve over time. Do you enjoy that part of the YouTube process? We were talking about editing the other day, weren't we?
I think we're talking about editing most
Right,
days.
so basically, there are days when I love it. It's kind of you kind of get into a tunnel, and you're like, I love it. I love the editing bit, and you get really into it. And then there's days when it becomes a chore. Teresa and I have different aspects of editing that we like. So yeah, I do like it, and the creative process. I do love the creative process of it all. What would you say?
Yeah, I think that as Nick said, we have different types of editing that we enjoy doing. So I prefer kind of telling a story with my editing. So that's why I kind of lean towards wanting to edit the weekly videos, whereas Nick has more kind of this like spurt of creativity, and he has like an idea, and he wants to see that in kind of put in motion, and so that kind of is more suited to like doing the trailers, the weekly trailers, or doing these cool little mini videos that we do. The season trailer Nick did, the intro Nick did, so the new intro that everyone is going on about how awesome it is, that was all Nick's work. So yeah, I think that Nick will spend like 5 hours on one transition. I do not have the patience for that.
That's how we work.
Yeah.
And we've talked to like Matt and Jessica, for instance. Jessica does all the editing, doesn't she? So our friends at MJ.
The filming and all the editing. Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm kind of slightly OCD. So I mean, literally, I spent 3 or 4 hours this week editing less than 3 seconds of video. When you see it, you're going to be blown away by it.
Well, you better be blown away by it.
So that works well for. So yeah.
Yeah. So Nick does all these like little projects that kind of, I think, make our videos look extra awesome. Whereas I prefer to kind of spend my time putting the story together.
But all I would say to you is that it's kind of like editing is made easy when you've got good B-roll. And so because we've bought all this really good camera gear, we've got some really good filters like ND filters and circular polarizing filters. It makes this repository of B-roll when we've got like all like we literally filmed. It's only a week ago actually. We did our sail from Cadiz to from Lagos to Cadiz, an overnight sail, and we just took so much quality B-roll that I've had to split it into 2 episodes. And I'm watching it thinking, God, it's so easy to work with.
Oh my God, we're amazing.
No, it's easy to work with when you've got the material in. Contrarily, when we got to Horta in the Azores, we were so tired and we were so ready to just go out and just drink and eat that we took very little film. And the editing for that video took me so long. If you read that Kittyweight article, Sailing Kittyweight that we referenced, if you don't have the footage, editing becomes a real bloody chore. Because you're like, how do I get this?
Anyway.
Enough.
Yeah. I actually like your live feeds since they're not edited. Yeah. Well, that's
live feeds.
No, she likes our live feeds, as in live feeds. I think in general because they're not edited, and that's why we do the live feeds, because like there needs to be, I think, a balance.
Yeah, we can't all be like robots going, "Hello, look at how amazing our sailing is."
Yeah, I know what you mean. I like watching live feeds of other channels as well for that very reason. So yeah, it's cool. Okay.
Mitch,
Teresa, my girlfriend wants to know where you put Nick when he was in timeout. So we have a floor cabin, which has a really firm door with a lock on it, and it is full of like Nick's guitars and our sails.
Bouncy balls, chocolate.
Our laundry is like just full of stuff that at some point needs to be sorted out. And when Nick is naughty, I threaten him with a timeout session in the fore cabin. And then you fall right into place, don't you? No, but for real. Yeah. Actually, I think that this, obviously it was a jokey question, at least I hope it was. But I think that kind of does raise an important point, which is about having like alone time on a boat when you live on a 38-foot boat. And we've got like I guess 3 main spaces that we can be in. We've got the cockpit, the saloon, and our cabin. And we try, and when the other person needs some space, maybe when Nick's like playing his guitar, when I'm doing a workout or whatever, we try and be respectful of that and kind of move ourselves into a different part of the boat so that we're not like living in each other's lap. Alex
Cameron says, my girlfriend is about to take a week-long sail training in the Virgin Islands. What did you say? And said she'd rather pay the $2,500 and sail with us. Yeah,
Aww.
we can't. Thank you very much. We can't train her to sail. You don't sail like us.
Also, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to say anything about that. I wouldn't feel right about accepting any money to have people on board. Full stop.
No, we wouldn't. I think, and that's what we do when we get.
But other people
do. Look, we're not going to do that though.
Yeah.
It's not. Look, when we get a new boat, we are going to invite patrons on board. We'll do some sort of mad lottery system, and we will blatantly steal Denos's way of doing it. So you get a number of tokens for different things, and so you get credit, and then we'll just put everything into a hat, electronic. That's 3 seconds of my life. Sebastian Lorraine finally caught you live. Thank you so much.
Yay.
Carlos E says 56 too big. What about comfort and safety in bad weather? Now here's the thing, my friend. Comfort and safety in bad weather don't correspond to boat size. We have our friends who had a 55-foot Hands. What was Northland? Hands 53, something big Hands. And that boat was totally unsuitable for heavy weather.
About Magic.
No.
It's the same.
Yeah, okay. Also, but contrarily, look like a Contessa 32. 32-foot boat, I'd go around the world in a Contessa 32, and lots of them have. It's not about size, it's about sea kindness, it's about the shape of the... if you take like a Contessa 32, which has got a beautiful encapsulated keel, it cuts through the waves. There was... so we met someone a couple of days ago, one of our fans has got a Hans Christian 33, canoe stern. Beautiful, beautiful boat. And to tell you the truth, it's not about size. Size gives you waterline speed, it doesn't give you safety. So there was certain, I'd happily go around in a 32-foot well-built boat that wasn't a modern production boat, then go around in a 55-foot, 60-foot modern production boat where there's not enough grab rails, the keel is bolted on. You want a good one. Basically, if you look at the profile of it, you want a nice wine glass shape, or a semi-long keel, and that's what you don't get with modern production boats.
That's very light, and so they don't kind of, we were talking to, again, Northwind, and she was saying...
Yeah, you want a corky boat.
Yeah.
Don't want a corky boat.
The motion was really uncomfortable.
Yeah. You want to get a light... Yeah, you want a medium... if you want a good sea-kindly boat, you get like a... And I said this Hans Christian, I think. It's a 33 canoe stern, long-keeled, encapsulated... it's not encapsulated, it's a long-keeled boat. So sea-kindly. Like, beautiful boat. No space inside.
It's all balance. There's no such thing as a perfect boat.
Alright, so basically, Heavy Hydrogen Dioxide says, buying a first boat, would you have purchased a 40-foot plus boat if you were doing it again? Try and decide on 36 to 38 or 40 to 44 foot monohull for a couple.
I think it really depends on what kind of sailing you're going to do.
Okay, I'd say it depends on the monohull. Like, say for instance, a 40-foot boat. If you get a 44-foot southerly, or 40-foot southerly, you're going to get twice as much space if you buy a 40-foot swan.
Yes, but also if it's like a weekender, then 36, 38 foot is perfect. You don't need 44-foot if you're just going to be using it on the weekend. If you're living on it, then that's a completely different kettle of fish.
So, SV Victory wants us to shout out to his wife. So he's love you guys crossing videos. Can you tell my wife Chris sailing off into the sunset is the only way to go? Her name is Chris. We are both watching. Chris
sailing off into the sunset is the only way to go.
There you go, mate. Checks in the post. No, it is. You know what? We put this on Facebook today, only because I found a photograph on Facebook from 4 or 5 years ago.
When you're bearded.
When I had a beard.
And wore knitwear.
Ooh, knitwear.
And had ale in your hand.
You know what? It's not straightforward. You don't just go to this amazing life where you see people. It's not the vision you get of like sitting on deck drinking beer all the time.
I would encourage Chris to type into Facebook, if she's on Facebook, Women Who Sail. It's a really good supportive Facebook group for women who sail, and if she has any questions or concerns or anything, then just put them out into Facebook land, and you get all these lovely women from all over the world responding to you, and it's a very, very supportive group.
So Jay Scott says, just wondering the life expectancy of your computers in a salt air environment.
We hope that they last a long time because we just bought new laptops.
Well, our last videos, our last Mac lasted 9 years.
Yeah, that's true. Not on the boat though. It lasted about 2 years on the boat. Anyway, yeah, not sure. Yet to be determined.
Brad 3000 says, not sure if you address this, but would you ever go through the Suez to the Indian Ocean? Back in the old day, I would have done. Back 25 years ago, I'd have loved to have gone. The problem is now that there are so many war zones. Yemen is a war zone. Eritrea is kind of sorting itself out. Somalia is kind of sorting itself out, maybe in a few years. The other thing you've got to deal with then is prevailing winds. You know, the prevailing winds, I'm not sure I'll look into it, but I think that you're kind of going the bad one.
No, that's okay from a wind perspective. But yeah, it's more the political situation.
I would love to go through
it would be awesome. And also, obviously, the alternative is going around South Africa, crossing the Atlantic again, and then crossing the Atlantic back the other way if you're trying to get to Europe. So the Suez is far
the Chinese have set up
going through the Suez to the Indian Ocean. Yeah, no, sorry, that is against the prevailing wind.
Christina Bozarth says, any thoughts on the Southerly brand now that it's been acquired by Discovery? If you watch this back, I kind of covered this about an hour ago. I love Southerly yachts. I think they are superbly well built. And you know what? Whenever I'm in touch with Southerly, because the Southerly Yard still exists originally.
Yeah.
So if we need spares for this boat, it's still the same people that built this boat, that talked to me about this boat when I had the boat built 6 years ago. They are fantastic people, but it's Discovery. We've contacted them 3 or 4 times. They just never get back to us. So I'm kind of got a bit of a flea in my ear about this at the moment.
Andre says, I don't know how far behind their videos are, but Kittiwake is going to the Balearics. Yeah, I think they are quite far behind. I'm in contact with Eleanor, and we've been saying for a while that it'd be great to catch up, but unfortunately, I think they're like a year ahead of us in terms of sailing plans.
Yeah.
But we're definitely going to keep an eye out for them because it would be cool to catch up with them. They seem like a really nice couple.
So Christina says, I have a 20-year plan to buy the 480. Well, all I would say to you at the 480 is there are other boats that are... The 480, what the Shards have got, the 480. So there's the 49 and the 47, which you can get for half the bloody price of that, right? The Southerly 47 is essentially what the 480 is. And we found a 40, there was a 47 called Anna that was going in berth on in Grenada for $500,000 a couple of years ago. So the 47 has become the 40. I didn't like the 49. Distant Shores 2 was a 49, different layout. So yeah, the 480. Look at the Southerly 47. They are beautiful boats. So yeah. So if your 20-year plan is to buy a 480, make it a 10-year plan and buy a 47. Mm-hmm. There you go. Chris Hollingdale says, do you have PLBs for the both of you? I have a PLB, but we both have AIS transponders. There you go. Yeah. And someone asks, hang on a second. What do you think of a Morgan ketch? I like Morgans and I like ketches. It's 1974. It was well surveyed. Nothing wrong with it.
Chris says, I may have missed it earlier, but what are you planning to sell? Sorry. Where are you planning to sell in the Med in the immediate future? Well, immediately, I think we're right next to Gibraltar right now. We're still in Spain. And I think that we are leaving on Tuesday to sail to Cartagena And then from there, we hope to make it to Ibiza. Get some serious partying done.
Oh, it's closing party at Pasha.
What?
God, as she kind of shows her lack of in September, all the clubs have closing parties.
Oh, okay. Are we gonna go and?
Well, you
Really
quite clearly,
well.
because one, you don't know what a closing party is, and two, you don't know what Pasha is.
Yeah, maybe wasted on me.
Yeah. I'll just get you some.
Also, my bedtime's like 10 o'clock.
You can have some warm milk. I'll see you 3 days later.
I'll see you in the morning. Yeah, so
anyway,
that's our media plan.
So Christina also says, you don't need a 48-foot boat, there's just two of you. 40 foot is more than enough. Subtly 42, subtly 38, if you want to go with subtly. Or other boats of that.
Nick says, my wife says that she'll only go with me if we get a catamaran. Sorry, I've just missed the second part of that question. Shame, as I really liked her.
Yeah,
well, would you prefer not to be
actually,
sailing
do
at
you know
all?
what?
I don't know.
Do you know what? We've read some inspirational books called Dolphins. There's a book that I read called Dolphins Under My Bed, which was set years ago, but it was about a couple.
Like pre-internet, I think.
Yeah, it was pre-Euro, so it must have been pre-2000. Well, they bought he wanted to go sailing. She said, I'm only going sailing with my catamaran, and they did.
It happens all the time. And yeah, my answer to that is if you kind of really are determined not to buy a catamaran, then you won't go sailing and then you miss out. So
it's kind of nice that there's Christina and Ordaz are kind of like hooking up on the internet. It's like match.com for us.
okay.
Look, so there's one
I
there.
don't know if it's in a romantic way.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's what I had in my mind. I thought they were like sending little heart emojis to each other. It'd be nice sending each other heart emojis, and we can say that we set this all up.
I think we arranged like a gay marriage on our Facebook page today. There were two
Did I miss
guys.
that?
Yeah, because there were two.
What was I doing?
There were two couples two men whose wives both didn't want to go sailing, and they agreed that obviously the most sensible solution would be that they get married and go sailing off in the sunset, which I actually thought was brilliant, and probably the wives would be pretty stoked about that too.
Pretty cool. Jim Dennison says, what do you think of island packets? I love island packets. I hate the biscuit colour, but they are well built yachts, and I like the jib boom.
Yeah, it's interesting.
No, it's good.
Okay.
So hang on a minute, I'm just going to show this so that you. There you go. So
Okay, and show the other one. There was another one that was hidden. Go up. Yeah, there you go.
sorry, you exchanging emails. Someone says, I must ask you an important question. When is the moustache coming back? So
People have been really upset about
I
that
know.
stuff.
I love the
For both
moustache. Tracy didn't.
reasons.
And you know, as if there was, I put a joke out about Tasha Hacker.
Oh, okay.
That doesn't mean it.
No, I get the joke. I just don't think it was that.
So Christina is now talking about her husband Kevin. Whoops, sorry. And now Ordaz is now reinforcing that he's got a wife as well.
Yeah, guys,
They will
feel
never
free
know.
to just ignore Nick whenever he
Who
puts
knows?
his foot in it.
Does things like this happen?
They do.
Maybe they should all charter together and see what happens.
There is like an actual swinger community in the sailing.
Yeah,
community, by
just
the way.
apparently, if you ever see a pineapple on a dinghy,
Yes,
how the
Pineapple Tuesday.
Pineapple Tuesdays
We do not have any
swinging.
first-hand experience, but
swinging.
we've got friends of friends of friends who have been
Yeah,
propositioned.
it's apparently if you see a pineapple on a dinghy, as in painted, it's got some swinging connotation.
I think the pineapples have swinging connotations. Anyway, yeah,
Okay.
we put out a poll on Instagram saying, stash or no stash, and it came back resoundingly anti-moustache.
Elle says bring the tash back.
So is that it then?
Yeah, what else
You said
goes?
to me the other day, you said like 2 days ago, I'm not going to shave today because I think I'm going to grow the moustache back, and now you've had a lovely shave.
Did I? 2 days ago about the tash.
You said to me the other day, I'm not going to shave today because I think I might grow the moustache back, and I was like, oh.
I think the thing that did it was I said to my mother, I'm going to go moustache. She goes, don't return it to your bloody father.
And you're like, all right then.
David Frost says Hughes 40-foot ketch centre cockpit. Don't know the mark, but like ketches, like centre cockpits. And Andy Underwood says, was Ruby Rose for sale though?
Yeah.
Yeah, we put her up on brokerage in America, and no one wanted her for the price we were asking. We refused to drop the price because we know what she's worth, so we just took her off the market. There you go.
Stephen says, hi both, just wondered when cruising what your rough monthly mix.
What our spending is.
What our spending is and where we might overwinter. That's a really tough question on both counts because as we kind of said before, we've talked about money on and off quite a bit this live chat. I think that you spend what you have. So if your budget is $500 a month, then you'll spend that obviously because that's quite low. If it's like $4,000 a month, then you'll probably just spend it as well. I don't think that everyone in this marina, everyone in the anchorage over there is probably spending something different, and we're all living a great lifestyle.
Yeah.
So I can't really say. Although if you type into Google how much does it cost to sail around the world, then an article.
Someone's saying it there, Chris Weaver. It's about $3,000 a month.
Yeah,
that's what we spend.
That's what our budget is, and that includes everything, including repairs, including equipment, including like hauling out, including everything.
Yeah,
that is everything. So that's not just cost of living; that is everything. But I've wrote an article. If you Google how much does it cost to sail around the world, then you'll see a Yachting World article from me. I think like it's definitely on the first page. And I interviewed quite a few other cruisers and got like a bit of a spectrum. So it's not about
Christina is now saying stop it.
What?
For matchmaking. But stop it. This is the thing about writing things in text. Stop it could be like, oh, come on, stop it. In a kind of jokey way. She could be like, no, stop it.
Okay. So...
You just ignore my comment.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, the pineapple thing anywhere is a sign of swingers. Thank you, Joe. Yes. It's true. We discovered this. And that's why we got so much amusement out of being in Charleston, because the pineapple, like, there's pineapples everywhere in Charleston. It's got nothing to do with swinging. It's got to do with, like, I think people coming back from... What was the pineapple thing in Charleston? They have them all on their, like, fences.
Yeah, but that's just Charleston. No. It's
it's like a sign of wealth.
Yeah, pineapple in Charleston is a sign of wealth. But if you put a pineapple in your shopping trolley on Tuesday,
upside down on a Tuesday,
it means that you're into swinging or you want to shag.
These are things that we learn when we're hanging around on the cruises.
Exactly. So Holo says about the exquisite X5 cat, beautiful, but we can't afford it.
What do you think of SV Dingleberry for boat name?
SV Dingleberry. I'd love getting that on a bloody on a VHF.
Dingleberry, Dingleberry, Dingleberry.
Okay, Ordaz5 says, what about
I think it's a great boat name.
Ordaz5 says, what are your thoughts about financing a yacht for Liverpool living? I talk about, not this a lot, but I talk about minimizing your stress a lot, and basically you need to try and set out so that you don't have, you just try and remove your worry. And
sorry.
If you would, it would worry you more if you did had so much finance outstanding.
Yeah, and Fairwind says you said $3,000 per month includes everything. Doesn't include boat payment. Insurance definitely includes insurance.
We don't have boat payment. We own the boat.
We weren't talking about earning. Boat payments.
Anyway, actually, there was a singer that had a pineapple on his head called Dr. Alban. He was a dentist before he was a singer.
I love that there's a lot of pineapple emojis going on right now.
Charleston has, Ellie L says, Charleston has one of my favourite swing clubs in the world, Foxy's.
Well, maybe that's because it's got so many pineapples all around, like the swingers are drawn to it.
But then if you were pissed and you came out of a swinging club and saw a pineapple on the wall, you'd be knocking on the door.
Hence the need for, like, quite the swinging community. Anyway, I feel like we're kind of getting off topic.
Trucking with Scott says, from Bo and Allison. Do you know Bo and Allison?
No, because we featured them on our videos quite extensively.
Yeah, it was.
I
think we better wrap this up.
The conversation's going downhill.
We've gone from catches to swinging in less than 3 sentences.
Standard.
Anyway, so I think, unless anyone's got any other pressing questions, so thank you so much for watching us. I think what we will do, we try and do this more regularly. It's easier for us to find internet. Obviously, we tried this morning, earlier with marina Wi-Fi doesn't work. So once we've got, probably every couple of weeks, I think. Otherwise,
every couple of weeks, yeah.
And I'm going to answer this because someone's just written the last question. Bus Curious to Warren, have you ever been asked if you have a weapon on board? I find this odd because it's only Americans that ask this. It is a given that if you are a non-US boat, you don't have a weapon on board because no one has guns outside of the US. It's a non-given for us.
Mm-hmm. So no,
we don't know. We don't know. So I think we're going to call it a day. Thank you to everyone. We will be on drumroll. We'll Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. Not so much nowadays. And what I would say is, follow us on there. If you haven't already done so, give us a thumbs up, like something, comment something, subscribe to us. It's so good for our channel.
And if you do want to become a patron, then for the next, what day is it today? Sunday. So up until Wednesday, so for the next 3 days, we are doing thank you videos, personalised thank you videos, delivered to your inbox. That is like a limited time thing, just to celebrate us going on to Patreon. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, then go over to Patreon.
So we will see you in a couple of weeks. We are going to be heading out of Gibraltar in a couple of days, hopefully heading to Cartagena. We will have our tracker on.
Yes. Although only patrons can see our tracker.
Calm with the patron.
No, but they can.
All right, well, we'll tell you where we are anyway,
Yeah.
on stuff that everyone can see.
Yes,
Far more
absolutely.
inclusive. That's what we want.
Yeah.
Nice inclusive stuff. Thank you all so much for watching what we have done. We have almost 400 people doing this. So all 400 of you, you're all awesome. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your Sunday. If it's Monday where you are, enjoy Monday. Be nice to someone. Look at boats. All come back to us with your boat suggestions, and see you soon.
Yes, and if there were any pressing questions that we didn't get around to, then just send us an email or Facebook message or something.
Yeah, it's not that we literally the things just scroll up. So things occasionally get missed, and it's not
because
us
we're
being
ignoring
mean.
You.
It's just the way we are.
Yeah.
But
all right, guys.
You're all fantastic, and we will see you all soon. Bye.
See ya.